Hello everyone, welcome to the Land Tamer stream. Hope you're having a good Thursday night. This wallpaper of the day comes courtesy of NASA HQ on Flickr. Not the most recent thing, but beautiful shot they've uploaded from the most recent launch of the Delta IV rocket. ULA launching the Parker Solar Probe. And we got folks in chat, which is great. It's going to be brief tonight, folks. Not doing any labbing tonight, anything like that. I'm going to explain why, but I hope you're having a good Thursday night and that your lessons are going well, or your labs, or your studies. We got the weekend coming up, so whatever you weren't able to get done during the week, hopefully you've got some time allocated this weekend. It's Friday Eve after all, right? But hopefully you got time allocated this weekend. I do myself. I'm actually going to take probably one day completely off because I haven't had a day off, quote unquote, in quite a while. Wife hasn't either. She started a job, so we're probably going to go to the beach this weekend one day, but the other day I plan to hit it hard. I got ground to make up. I got 67 days, and let me just tell you where I'm at. So I've been doing, as many of you know if you've watched, I've done a couple labs the last few days, and how those labs came about is I've been reviewing the written CCIE routing and switching written course that is on networklessons.com. I've also been reviewing my notes from the written fail, and I'm not really sharing any of that, for obvious reasons. But as many of you know from the last written fail, I've identified that, I don't really know all the gaps I have. I've missed some gaps. I have some gaps, knowledge gaps. So by going through networklessons.com, that's just sort of another curriculum for me to go through. I've already gone through INE's videos on the preparing for the CCIE written. I've done spot reviews of the official study guides, and I've used Boson, and now I've added this, of course, Network Lessons. And where I'm at right now is it's kind of still in the beginning because I'm going to show you a screenshot. I'm not going to show you, of course, the entire, the contents of the I'm not going to show you the content because, of course, that's work very well done and worthy of payment if you are looking to use that as copyright as well. But as you can see, I'm on the network principles, the very first unit, and I'm almost done. I got hung up on, bandwidth delay product, which I spent a couple days on. I got hung up on a couple of other items in here, but now I'm doing just network maintenance, and I have 2 units left. Of Unit 1, 2 sections left of Unit 1, network maintenance and how to troubleshoot networks. This covered, I read through a lesson before starting the stream on EPC, embedded packet capture. Didn't feel like I needed a lab. Like I said, I'm only in things that I'm not grasping. I'll try to do a little bit of lab or a little further research. So I expect I'll fly through the end of this to get to layer 2 technologies. As you can see here, this basically goes by the blueprint. L2, L3, VPN, infrastructure security, infrastructure services. It does cover some of the, it's not listed here in the table of contents, but networklessons.com, it does cover a number of the evolving technologies as well. Again, and a new lesson is added every week. So, yeah, I'm liking it so far. I'm going to give a more in-depth review probably midway through all the material. But for right now, I've been pretty happy. So that's what I'm working on tonight, folks. Nothing really to share on stream about that. It's just going through lessons. There are some videos. There are some labs, like with EPC. He listed out, he tends to go through an exercise and show the screenshots. And if you want, you can actually take the config files and put it in a lab, for example. But yeah, that's what I'm working on, folks. I've been very busy this week. As some may know, I've started sort of a new endeavor on my current employer, but I've sort of been switched over to sort of a cloud DevOps team. I'm still closely involved with, the on-prem networking team and things like that, but I'm getting a lot more into DevOps, and I'm going to share more of that as we go along. But one of the things, of course, we're working on, I'm actually today, part of my day was spent watching a tutorial video on Pluralsight I don't know if any of you, I have access to it through my employer. Pluralsight's pretty good. They have a nice course on Ansible. So I've been going through that because we are working on automating some infrastructure things in the cloud using Ansible. I've used it before with F5, and now we're going to be using it on Azure and, Linux and Windows and just all sorts of different components. So one sort of discussion I've seen is around, Ansible and CI/CD, like deployments. So if you've been to, I know I'm saying so a lot. Sorry about that. I'm just realizing that. I've never been really a coder, and we do have people with coding backgrounds on our team. And one thing that coders have been doing a long time is part of the CI/CD model, which is continuous integration, continuous delivery, is there is sort of a release. Besides Ansible, you need a release management tool because, first of all, you need repositories, right? Because you want to treat your Ansible data files, whether it be inventory, YAML, playbooks, etc. You want to treat those as code, and that's really when you're talking about automating and touching, repeating a process, touching hundreds of devices very quickly. A human can't do that, and it's pretty exciting to me because we're getting away from, human touching configuration, touching everything, and nowadays people expect infrastructure to be delivered much faster at a much faster pace. Being in a cloud does allow a lot of that. Of course, now you can buy Azure Stack and put Azure Stack on your on-premise equipment, and use Azure tools for deployments. But the point I'm getting at is, developers have been used to this for a long time, but those of us who are in infrastructure support or design or architecture, we're not really, I know I'm not really accustomed to this CI/CD model of, infrastructure as code, your configurations as code, and using CI/CD to do sort of release management. So when you deploy something into a development environment, how do you branch that code, whether that be playbooks or scripts or whatever that is? How do you branch that into other environments and falling into production, right? So there's a lot of automation, not just around performing the tasks, but around doing releases and keeping track of your code and the changes to the code, checking in, checking out, etc., and doing iterative releases and tracking those releases. So CI/CD tools, or release management tools, Ansible has a little bit of that I've found. A lot of people I know use something else besides Ansible. Ansible is great at configuration management. That's its strength, and in general, it's compared against Salt or SaltStack. It's compared against Puppet. It's compared against Chef. Those are kind of some of the big players, at least right now, for configuration management. But Ansible itself is not really, at least I've not seen where it's strong as a release management tool. So, we're working on all this stuff and using, developing repositories for infrastructure code. We're developing, we've already selected and we're working on provisioning the release management tool and developing our process, diagramming out our process. So it's really exciting, and I look forward to sharing some of that I can in the future. And it's amazing. It's really starting to sink in, at least for me, what has been talked about for a long time, that times are changing, that we have to become, thinking about agile and automation. Well, that's happening for me right now, folks, and it's pretty exciting. The day has come, and I've seen it coming. I've seen it coming for a while. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm excited about it. It's a lot to learn, though. So, I'm trying to balance learning all that with continuing my CCIE studies, and I'm certainly as committed as ever to that. And I'm trying to dedicate my non-working time, of course, to the CCIE. So that's what I'm working on, folks. Not much else. I do have a little quiz for today, and see if you can answer this without looking it up, right? What are the 4 important RIP timers, and what are their default values in seconds? So think of those 4 RIP timers, and what are their default values, RIP v2. And if you know, that's great. If you don't, think about it as hard as you can until you have to look it up, and we'll talk about it on Saturday. As many of you know, Friday night is my night off from streaming, and it's typically date night or something like that, or just relax night or whatever. And Saturday, I intend to stream. It'll either be Saturday or Sunday. I'll let you know in the Discord, because, like I said, we are taking sort of a day off as well, just to go somewhere else besides my little few mile radius. It's funny, like when you work remote, when you work from home, it's great. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but one of the main places I go is to the gym, which I can walk to my gym, my CrossFit gym. I get up and I go at 5:50 every morning, 5:50 a.m. I leave for the gym, and I usually ride over there or walk, usually ride. And, that's my week. And then at night I stream. We go to the grocery store, we do our errands, things like that. But we really haven't. We've been in a routine and on the grind for all summer. So this will be our first sort of little getaway, which will be nice. But we're going to take a day off. And then later in the year, we're going to take sort of a longer vacation. But looking forward to it. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Again, it's going to be brief. Definitely check out, I think I already saw it in the chat in Discord that Tony E is going to be streaming later tonight or posting a video. He's been doing great stuff. Definitely check out Discord. We had some great discussions today in Discord. I was just catching up on those about if you are using gear at home, what is some good gear to use for your labs. And then there are comments about how, people who are now labbing in Azure or in the cloud, Google Cloud, how, it's basically there's no limit, to what you can do in the cloud. The limit is this, right? Cache. So you can build really large labs and do whatever you need to do, and scale beyond whatever hardware you can put in your house. You can scale. So, anyway, good stuff. Definitely check us out there on Discord. And thanks again so much for tuning in, folks, and hanging out. And again, I'm wishing you good bits, sending you good bits. And hit those studies, folks. Stay on it. Let's get those certs. Let's be awesome. And thanks so much. Y'all have a great weekend if I don't talk to you before. Otherwise, we'll see you in the Discord. And we shall see you back here this weekend on a Land Timber stream. Have a good night.